Welcome back. So in this last part of the tutorial, the fourth one, I'm going to show you, we created all of this stuff with the factory method pattern. I'm going to show you how we can change this into an enum. So an enum is just a way to name integers. It's not completely true, but for now let's believe that. So what we can do, we can create something that looks like a class or something like that, that we can actually use for naming things. So let me show you here. So let's try to go to our weaponsmith here, because the weaponsmith is the one being able to, it's here that we actually look at the different cases. So what if we, instead of using string here, we said we want to use an enum here, weapon type. Okay. So this is what we want to use, and this is not the right way. So, but what we would want to do is we want to create an enum that will enable us to do this. So what we'll do, I'm going to create a new public enum, and we're going to call this enum weapon type. And what we do is we do these brackets, and in here we write all the types of weapons we can have. So for example, sword, we write mace, we write staff. Okay. So instead of using enum here, we can use weapon type here, like that. So now, instead of actually writing it as strings, we can just use these nice and green names here. So I can remove this. So we can see all of this stuff. And weapon type or enums are always static. We can write static here, it doesn't matter. It's always static. So these are on the weaponsmith class. We cannot set them to anything, we cannot do anything with them. They just have an intrinsic, they have some value inside of them that we actually don't care about. So we can just think that maybe this is 0, this is 1, and this is 2, and it's just named like this. So now we can put sword, mace, and stuff here. So now that I did this, let's go back to our game. So now it says that it actually needs a weapon type in here. So how can we use the weapon type? Because it's a static method, we can actually, this weapon type is static, we can get that on the class. So we can say weapon type, and we need to, either we need to write factory, weaponsmith, etc., or we can do an import for that, and we see that we get, let's just remove this. We can see that we actually get this import here, weapon type. So now that we have weapon type here, we don't need to write weapon type because now we kind of imported that. So now we can just write, let's see what that was, staff. So we need to write weapon type dot staff. And the nice thing is now I cannot misspell this because I will get an exception whenever I'm actually compiling the stuff. So instead of actually getting the exception when the program is running, I get the exception immediately. And that is really nice. You can look into the naming of these. I don't think there's complete consensus on how to name these. Sometimes it's in all caps like this. Sometimes it's in all non-caps like this. Sometimes it's different. It really depends on implementation. What I see today is that most people tend to use non-caps for everything like this. But I don't know what the correct way to do that is. So that's it. So this is actually just using the enum. Everything works like before. It's just really nice that you can't actually do something wrong here. The only drawback to this is that now you have one more thing to worry about if I do something else. So if I create another type of weapon in here, I need to add it here, and I needed to add it down here as well. So I kind of made an extra interface here that I need to be remembering to change each and every time I do something new. But still, I think it's okay. It's cohesive. It's still within the same factory class. So putting it here and here is also manageable. I see sometimes people use something like reflection or something like that for this. I'm not sure this is the right way to do it. Another nice things with enums is that you can actually go into game here. If I do weapon type, I can actually get the values as an array, so that means I can loop over the different types of weapons. So if I wanted to do that, I can say something like for each weapon type, weapon. Like this, so I can actually loop over the different types of weapons. So if I wanted to create something like a lot of different staffs, I could just I could do like this, right? So I could just create all of the different kinds of weapons in the system like this. So this is one of the advantages, I think, of using enums here. I think I'll leave it like this. So thank you for watching this last one, and I hope you learned about the factory method pattern.